welcome to another episode of Sunday Brunch with Jarrard and Gina.
Hi.
If you don't know by now, I'm Jarrard, of course.
And I'm Gina.
And that's Gina.
Yes.
You know, just so you don't think I'm Gina. So, I mean, hey, you know, let me stop. So anywho, always a little humor on Sunday mornings.
You're funny.
So
it's not funny if you're like, but it's not funny if you're like laughing at yourself.
I mean, hey, I can laugh at myself. Why can't I laugh at myself? Better me laugh at myself than other people laugh at me. I mean, is that the way it works? Maybe not. All right, so moving on. All right, so today I am actually doing a little cooking myself. So last first episode, you know, we already had the brunch prepared and everything, and you know, we had a couple guests on, and the second episode, which was our Valentine's Day edition, Gina did the cooking, and turned out really well. The French toast casserole was amazing. It was amazing. So, and also, if you missed the first two episodes, feel free. They're actually on our Love Events Facebook page. Feel free to visit the past two episodes and check them out. Let us know what you think. Also, they're up on our YouTube page as well, our YouTube Love Events page. So feel free to either Facebook or YouTube and check out our first two episodes and let us know what you think. We're always looking for feedback and input. And if you're watching right now, you know, feel free to join us in today's discussions and comment. I promise to try not to miss some of your comments. So let's just start off by letting everyone know that as we prepare this meal, Gina is going to walk me through a lot of things because I'm not an indoor cook. I'm a griller. Yes. I'm grill master. You know, summertime we can test that. But she's going to walk me through because I'm not an indoor cook. I'm a griller. You know, I told her I was going to pull out the apron just to let everybody know. You know, let me get it right. Yeah. Get the apron right there. Let me get it.
It's awfully clean.
I mean, because I watched it after the last time I cooked.
Okay.
I watched it. So you see that? Yeah. The barbecue legend, the man, the myth. Yes. So
you're gonna wear your apron home?
No. That apron is especially for barbecuing. If I use that apron for indoor cooking, it may mess up. You know, it may mess up my barbecue skills. Mm-hmm. So earlier you were telling me that take the cheese.
Yeah. So we have frozen tater tots. A pound of cheese, chopped bacon,
okay.
6 eggs, 2 cups of milk, and ranch dry dressing. Okay. So first you're going to mix the cheese and the bacon in the tater tots.
All right, awesome. Oh, and Brandy, by the way, listen, I know it's clean, but I'm good at doing laundry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm good at doing laundry. You know, what is it called? OxyClean? Like,
whatever.
It works wonders.
It looks so clean. It looks brand new. Okay.
By the way, those at home, I washed my hands already. So we're going to take a little cheese.
Well, that whole thing, the cheese is going in.
So we're pouring the whole thing in. Okay.
Yes. Music? Okay.
Music.
Here, you can give me that. Alright. So you might want to stir that first. That might make it a little easier since you put so much.
I mean, this spoon is wobbly.
Do you need another?
Let me
do you want to use this one?
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Alright, sweet one. I'm trying. Okay, there we go.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine because it's okay if the cheese goes to the bottom because when we dump it into the pan. Alright. All right. Here's chopped up cooked bacon.
Chopped up cooked bacon.
About 2 pounds worth, almost.
All right. Shake that in there.
You drop the bacon.
I'm losing bacon. All right, here we go. Mm-hmm. Bam. All right. All right. Ah. Yeah.
Okay. We also preheated the oven to 350 while we're.
Oh,
all right.
No, this thing. No.
All right, I think that's good.
Okay.
All right, so we have our greased pan. I use pan. And you're just gonna dump those bad boys in here.
All right.
You might want to use a spoon to help you, like make sure it's even. I'm gonna lower it down for you.
Okay.
It's gotta go all over the pan, babe. Okay, hold on a sec. You got a lot of cheese at the bottom. Okay.
All right, there we go.
Try to sprinkle that cheese over top. There you go. Try to even it out. There you go. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna put this aside.
All right.
Put a little more cheese. All right. So now you have your 6 eggs.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna whisk in. Alright, so you're gonna whisk in your ranch dressing mix. So put that in, and then you're gonna mix in your. So you can just pour this guy in, and then pour the milk in, and then whisk it all together.
All right.
Okay. So your milk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, now I gotta whisk it up.
Yes, I'm getting hungry, and this takes like 40 minutes to do.
All right, okay, let's go. All right. Let's whisk.
Okay, I think that. You think it's good?
I think it's good. I don't want to over whisk it.
I think you're good.
Is it a such thing?
Yeah, I don't know with eggs, but we'll just put that guy in there.
All right, there we go.
All right, and then you're gonna pour it evenly over our entire pan here.
All righty, let's go.
Yeah, try and cover some of those tots there.
Yeah.
This looks just a tiny tad. I'm trying to like just adjust it a bit here because this side looks a little.
All right, I messed up. Okay.
No. I just want to make it sure it's a little bit more even. Because one side's going to end up cooking a little faster than the other one. All right. So I'm going to put this in the oven. And bake. All right. Dishes.
Thank you, Brandy. I appreciate that. I thought my pour was pretty nice as well. You know.
You think you're fancy, huh?
Listen, just a tad bit. You know, listen, like that is key when you baking. You got to have the right pour. You see the way I was swerving with it. Yeah, exactly.
Someone think they special. All right. So what we drinking?
All right. So I don't know anybody that tuned in last episode. So last episode we made a specialty drink called the Bubbly Party. No, I'm sorry. It was actually called the Bubbly Raz Party, which the ingredients include raspberry sorbet, sparkling rosé, and that's it.
Well, this is non-alcoholic rosé because I don't want to get tipsy before we have to deal with the baby.
Right.
But if you want to get a little tipsy, you can switch this out with regular rosé.
Exactly. So, like Gina said, if you want to get a little tipsy, get regular rosé. If you want to experiment a little bit, like I would, if I was playing tipsy bartender and not a father, I would actually go to the wine and spirit store and get raspberry sorbet. It's kind of is a vodka, and I think it's made by Skinny Girl, I believe. But raspberry sorbet vodka would actually go, or any type of raspberry vodka would actually go great with this. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Throw maybe about 2 to 3 scoops raspberry sorbet into the cup, and then mix it with a little bit of rosé. Oh, that's a lot better.
It's not as melty.
3. All right, moving on. Okay.
Hi, Don.
I get it. There we go. That's 2. Bam. 3. Let me get a
spoon.
Give me a spoon. Thank you, Brandy. It actually it sounds good. And it actually tastes good. Pretty sure it doesn't compare to your wine smoothie that you made the other night, but this is just as awesome in a non-alcoholic way. All right, so
good.
So now we're going to pour in the rosé.
This kind of reminds me of something my granddad used to make us around the holidays.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't sorbet, it was sherbet, and it was ginger ale. So,
I think that's an old head thing for sure.
yeah.
Because I remember my folks telling me about the different drinks that they would make with sherbet. So I definitely think that it may be a older generation.
I definitely felt fancy whenever he would make it. He would put it in a big old punch bowl and dumped literally the entire thing of sherbet. And
wait, I feel as though we made that one time.
We did, but the kids weren't really feeling it. I don't know if I did the wrong ratio or something.
What did we make that for?
It was for something like Christmas because we used to always have it around Christmas and Thanksgiving.
I think we made it for it was Christmas. I remember. I can't remember what Christmas was, but it was Christmas.
Refreshing. Let's cheers. You just know. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Cheers.
It
actually does
totally
look
good.
refresh. It does look refreshing and it tastes refreshing.
It's totally good.
I think the sorbet gives a little more extra sweetness to the rosé.
I definitely think it does. All right, so
our food bakes. I'm sorry.
You and me both. All right, so while our food bakes, we're going to go ahead and get into a couple of our topics for this week. So our first topic that we're discussing today is I don't want to say it's Inspiration 4, right?
It's called Inspiration 4.
So yes. Inspiration 4.
A contest. It's a contest right now, headed by SpaceX. SpaceX is looking to have the first mission out in space completely manned by civilians. So no professional astronauts, military, or anything like that. Regular folk.
Yeah. In the words of
and doing it by the end of this year.
Yeah. In the words of Randy Jackson, that's a no for me, dog. No.
Well, you know what's funny because it's One, I think it's a really cool idea. I think it's a little too soon. It's too soon for me. One, the person who's going to be, they already picked the commander. That guy is
the commander a military background or something?
No, he does not have a military background. He does have flight experience. He's a pilot. He's a military trained pilot, but he's not military.
Wait. So he's a military trained pilot.
Because he was trained by people who were in the military.
But he's a pilot.
He wasn't in the military. Yeah, so he's a pilot. He got his pilot license.
Has he flown any missions?
No, he flies. So
from what I said, 747.
I think his name is let me try to remember. Jacob Isaacman, and he's an entrepreneur. He was one of those tech guys, and he started his business. It's basically like an e-commerce website company.
Okay.
And he's like a multimillionaire. I don't know if he's a billionaire, but he's definitely a multimillionaire.
Of course.
And he is also does lots of philanthropy. But apparently, one of the things that he likes to do is fly planes, and he has lots of flight experience. And he also does those flight demonstrations and that sort of nature. So apparently, he's a very high level pilot.
So
not professional, but definitely on professional grade in terms of the type of the number of hours and flight experience.
So can I dissect this really quick? So everything you just said, I'm gonna tell you what I heard. So what I heard was there's this guy who started a tech company, similar to e-commerce. It took off. It made him millions. This guy then became bored and wanted a hobby that would interest him, and he started to learn how to fly.
You're judging the heck out of this man.
I don't even know this man, but anywho, listen, I'm talking facts.
Okay.
So the guy decided he wanted to learn how to fly, so he started taking flying lessons. So he took multiple flying lessons, and of course, because he was a multi-millionaire, he probably got his flying lessons from the best. So he took flying lessons, learned how to fly. Probably took a couple of solo flights. Up to the sky quite a few times. And this is the guy that they're going to have fly civilians out in space.
Yes.
All right, continue. Okay, just wanted to.
The thing is, they're not really going that far. They're just going just above. I think.
Are they breaking the Earth's atmosphere?
I believe so. Yes, and they will do a couple of orbits, I think, around the Earth.
That's far.
The other 3 positions are still open. They're supposed to be announcing them sometime this spring. But one of those positions is through a contest. So if you donate to St. Jude's Children's Hospital, which is it's a huge...
Now that part I like, the donating to St. Jude's.
The whole concept is not only to have the first civilian flight in space, but to also donate to bring up donations for St. Jude's.
Look, I'm 1,000,000% for
Brady said they all gonna die. Well, and that's what I feel like. It's too soon. It's too soon for something like this. Because one, they're going to be flying on SpaceX's Dragon shuttle. Now, the shuttle's only made a couple of flights to space. I think maybe 2. Haven't really done that much. And SpaceX still has rockets exploding in the prototype experimental phase. So to me, we need to have a couple more flights under the belts, before we start sending regular people into space. Okay, and this brought up, the Challenger event. And I told you this before. It's right. In fact, this Challenger, for a lot of people, Challenger is really long time ago. They don't even know that, doesn't really know that it happened, because there's generations of people been born since then that don't know anything about it. But I remember watching it as a kid and watching the shuttle explode. It's one of my earliest memories. And that's pretty traumatic. And there was a teacher on that flight, a regular person. So, and that was after NASA had tons of flights to space, to the point where they thought it was like getting in a regular airplane. And that's pretty much what they said. It was the safest flying in the air. Yeah, and they exploded. And then remember the last explosion was probably just under 20 years ago?
Definitely.
Where all those people died and climbing into the entire crew died. So, to me, it's kind of you know, I feel like they're a little too ambitious at this point to say that they can send 4 regular ass people and they train them for only a few months to send them into space.
And the commander is a guy who just likes flying planes.
I mean, he has a dream he wants to be an astronaut, and the only way he can be an astronaut is probably if he buys the spaceship.
He has a dream he wants to be an
I
astronaut.
mean, I'm making an assumption. If he wants to go to space, most likely he wants to be an astronaut. But, most people, to become astronauts, they have to do a bunch of other stuff.
We know.
So, yeah, to me, it doesn't, it wouldn't be
It takes
something
a lot to become an astronaut.
To me, I think it's too early to be sending regular people to space. It's too early to be sending regular people to space.
I agree. Listen, I won't sign up for that one. No. I mean, now, if there's a way, like, if you can donate, I'm all for donating to St. Jude. If you could donate without, signing up for the program, then definitely. Yeah, I'll donate, but I'm not signing up I don't want to go to space.
Yeah, no.
The closest I get to space is watching Independence Day over and over again.
That's not a good example of going to space, but Pat said it's a no for him, too.
Exactly. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a little too soon. I think we need a couple more flights. I think maybe another decade before we send people to space. I think we're jumping the gun.
You know what? Since Pat is watching, I'll even make this other statement. I will become a Dallas Cowboys fan before I sign up to travel out to space. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said it.
Moving right along. Look, sir, you don't really know what's going to be like in 10 years. In 10 years, it could be like, there's a vacation spot on the moon, and we're all going out there, and I'm like, well, I guess I gotta become a Dallas Cowboy fan in 10 years.
We know what their end game is.
Oh, the end game is to commercialize space travel.
Exactly. Like, what's the movie we watched? The Passenger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's basically to make it a cruise ship.
It would be no more cruise ships on the ocean. It would be space cruise ships. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, Pat said they need a couple more 1,000 flights before they need it. Like,
how about 1 million? Like, I'm sorry. Like, we're talking about space. One, like, and I don't want to say I'm ridiculous. I mean, hey, like, everybody has their own thoughts and their own opinions. But one, in my opinion, we don't even know if there's any other life out there anywhere.
I'm pretty sure there is.
I mean, so no.
But they're not going that far. They're only going like literally just like.
We keep saying not that far. Listen, if you're going beyond the clouds where you're not seeing blue anymore, you're just seeing black with white dots, which is stars all over the place, then that's too far. I'm sorry. All right, moving on.
Yeah, space luxury travel like Fifth Element. Yes, definitely.
Yes,
Fifth Element.
Exactly like the Fifth. I forgot about the Fifth Element. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good one. All right, so moving on to our next topic.
So, I have to make a confession. Like, I have not seen the trailer for Mortal Kombat yet.
What?
I'm sorry.
But I send it to you.
I know, and I meant to look at it.
But I send it to you.
But
I send it to you.
All right, so then why don't we just...
Everybody understands that, but I send it to her.
Before we move on. Like, Brandy, I just saw this from Brandy. She said, they've been talking about this for some time. How much will it cost to die? Too funny. I mean, it's messed up, but it's funny. Honestly, when the last flight that they did, I held my breath. And it was like, yay! So, like, but I don't want to be holding my breath for these regular people.
No.
No,
like, especially regular people got it by a guy who just likes flying as a hobby.
I think that's a little, of an understatement about his experience. But, yeah. All right, let's see. Let me play this Mortal Kombat trailer so you will shut up. Let me see if this...
But I sent it a couple days ago. Do you need me to resend it to you? I mean, I literally sent it to you maybe 3 days ago. It should still be in your text thread, but
Sir, you need text like constantly. That's like.
So, Pat, how's marriage life going on your end?
Yeah, that's like. That's not even nice. All right, let's see this mess.
First learned about this 7 years ago. On a mission in Brazil to capture a wanted fugitive. When we got there, it tore through our unit in seconds. The target had superhuman abilities. It had the same marking you do, Cole.
It's a birthmark.
What do you mean?
He was born with it.
It's not a birthmark, Cole. It means you've been chosen.
Throughout history, different cultures all over the world reference a great tournament of champions. That dragon marking? I think it's an invitation to fight for something known. As Mortal Kombat.
These are your champions.
I'm Sonya. That's Kano.
I'm Liu Kang.
Name's Jax.
Kung Lao. Lord Raiden. The fate of Earth is in our hands.
No matter how many of my people you put in the ground, we will not fail. Kill them.
I am Sub-Zero. Get over here!
Kano wins. You fucking beauty.
Share the link. Oh my goodness, this looks insane.
That was a fatality. That was
Fatality.
That was a total fatality.
Oh my goodness. So then why don't we just... That's insane.
Everybody understands that. So I think they actually finally are going to get Mortal Kombat right.
I feel like but it's not like normal Mortal Kombat, but it's still Mortal Kombat.
I mean, but
I like the direction that it's going in. Be real honest with you, like it looks dope as hell.
exactly, like for so for someone that has played the games from back when Mortal Kombat very first started back in the 90s, you know, when you could have the option to have the blood on or blood off. Everybody remember Sega Genesis Mortal Kombat, the blood code, it was Abacab, A, B, A, C. You remember that. So I'm telling my age. Okay. But to play like the actual game from the 90s all the way up until recent, maybe 2 years ago when I purchased Mortal Kombat X, is like to see the first two Mortal Kombat movies, which were horrible. To actually see this one, I'm like, they may have finally got it right.
It looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. Very violent, though, like super violent, like the video game violent. Not like the movie. Remember the old movie? Like the old movie it was violent, but it was really like PG.
Exactly.
13,
but the game was violent. So like I feel as though the game is so violent.
Like and then the trailer tells you anything. Within the first few seconds, dude is ripping dude's arms off. Like that is pretty intense.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't see it earlier. My bad.
It's all right. It's okay. It's all right.
But it was good.
I told you.
It was good.
I tried to tell you. I told you. So, I mean, my only thing is, though, hopefully they don't mess it up with a whack storyline. The action looks good. Hopefully the storyline is just as good as the action.
If they just focus on the, who all these people are and what they have to fight for, and then not try to add in no stupid love interest crap.
Oh, Pat said you didn't watch the end part. Scorpion said, "Get over here."
Oh crap! Yeah. So I'm gonna watch the full thing again. But as I couldn't hold my arm up, and then and then everyone was like, I didn't want to be like, oh, here's all this janky while I'm trying to. Take it over here. I'm excited.
I'm telling you, I think it's good. Like, hopefully, like I said, hopefully it turns out good. Because I remember the one time when they kept trying to get the Punisher movie right, and they just couldn't do it. And then the one time when you thought they had it right, I watched it, and was like, okay, no, all right.
But some, like, you know, some things can't become movies, and that's what I think. That's the reality. Everyone's trying to make everything a movie. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, every video game can't become a movie. Every comic book can't become a movie. Some stuff is just the medium that it's in.
True.
So.
True, I agree with that.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely agree with that.
All right, so then let's talk about this nonsense real quick.
What's the next nonsense?
Meek Mill.
Oh, good old Meek. Hey, good old Meek. Yeah.
I know. I didn't get to double check to see if maybe he issued an apology or anything yet, so we'll have to find out about that.
Let's see right now. So like, so while I'm looking to see if maybe he, you know, back down and apologize, whatever, or if him and his team are still calling people, still saying people are too sensitive in 2021. Let's see.
Can you pull up the actual track? So Meek, I guess there was a song. I don't know whose song it was on, but he did a verse, and one of the lines referred to Kobe.
And he did not.
Of course he wouldn't.
No, he did not. No, he did not. All his tweets is a bunch of nonsense. He did not. So let me see if I can find this.
See if you can find it. Yeah. So basically, he said he said he would never fall out or whatever, something like that, or.
It was something similar to if you catch me lacking, I'm going out with my chopper. It'll be another Kobe.
This bitch I'm fucking always tell me that she love me, but she ain't never show me. Yeah, and if I ever lack, I'm going out with my chopper, it'd be another Kobe. Shit, I can tell that they ain't never know me.
Yeah, so but to me, like, I feel like Meek has been falling off a lot. Like, I really felt like he was really on for me, personally. Like, I like some of his songs, but I never really felt like he grasped, like, what's appropriate ever. You know, like, he's never, like, I feel like his own behavior is always going to keep him, like, at a lower level. And that's just, like, even the stuff, him getting into it with 6ix9ine, like, that just looked ridiculous. Him getting into it with Nicki Minaj's, like, ex, like a husband or whatever in the store, you know, the other year, like, is ridiculous. Like, he just doesn't know how to elevate his persona at all. And then this is just an example. Who on earth, like, come on, the dude.
But really he goes to the point where it's like, so Meek is like a seesaw for me.
Yeah.
It's like a seesaw, like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's like one level from one point where you actually see him, you know, you see his growth and you see him actually trying to change up his pattern and everything, his behavior. And then a couple months later, it's like, now we back down. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like up, down, up, down. It's like, I think he needs to find a point where, and
he needs therapy.
And I think it's more so, and he probably does. And I think it's also more so.
He's extremely immature. Even though after everything he's been through, he's still extremely immature.
Because I'm not even going to call it, I wouldn't say he has ego.
And yes, Brandy, it was distasteful.
It was super distasteful. Like, I wouldn't call it so, I wouldn't say he so much have an ego. Like, and it's like, but I don't, and maybe if, you know, fame changes people. Mm-hmm. Fame changes people. Because like I told you, like, I remember a 12-year-old, like, I remember a 12-year-old me, you know, who used to have conversations, like actual conversations on how he wanted to be better and do better. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so some of the times when I see a lot of his behavior, I'm like, all right, clearly what happened to that little 12-year-old boy that, used to sit on the hood of my car and actually talk about better life. Like, did fame really change him? It makes me wonder a lot of times. And like you said, therapy could play an issue in it, because I really think the whole Nicki Minaj thing really kind of like mess with his head. Especially after the breakup and then him going back to jail and then that crazy disrespectful comment that she put on Twitter about telling him don't drop the soap.
That was rude.
That was super like.
But she's also another person I feel is like still very extremely immature. Like, and hopefully like now that she's a mom and that'll change her. But
oh yeah, kids change you.
Yeah, but he extremely immature, and like any person, a person with a kid with children would never make a comment like that. That man died in the plane with children. Children were in that chopper. It's not funny.
No,
it's not to be like
never should that incident and this is just in my opinion, never should that incident be talked about or be used in any rap verse or anything like that. That should just be an incident where we remember the people from that tragic accident. With respect and honor. Never should we use it in any type of like in what is it, metaphor, in any type of like metaphor at all. Like no. I mean, if you want to like throw Kobe in a rap, then throw him in a rap like like honor Kobe, like like talk about you want to be the GOAT like Kobe. Talk about how you shoot your shot fade away like Kobe. Anything like that, but Kobe like the chopper accident is just something that we shouldn't mention. No.
Brady said, I feel it's another Bubba Chuck situation. You can elevate the pockets. It takes the right people in your camp and desire to grow to elevate the entire entity.
Exactly.
Yep.
Spot on, Brandy. Spot on for sure.
So we don't have a ton of time because that boy is going to be waking up really soon.
Yes.
So, do you want to talk briefly about? I don't know. Honestly, I was going to talk about Ted Cruz, but I don't know if I want to.
I don't want to waste my time with Ted Cruz.
I don't. I think he's getting what he's getting.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the media is dealing with Ted Cruz enough.
I mean, like, look, I have to say though, like, if we lost power, we had the means to go somewhere, I would definitely go somewhere.
But we're not government officials.
Exactly. And I mean, I could even understand if he was like, well, I need to send my family away somewhere while they're safe, and then I will stay here and do the fight. And then the fact is, like, the dude he lost to, Beto O'Rourke, was like literally out there like making phone calls, set up a phone bank, got donations.
Opportunity.
Like he was literally out there doing the work.
But opportunity knocks. He was like, oh, so this dude, he went to Cancun? Let me get out here and help my people.
But he was doing it before he even knew that.
Oh, wow. So he's just a genuine person.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, you're a government official, so you can't. But I was thinking about this morning. I was like, I totally understand not wanting to be in a winter storm. Because I thought about it. I thought about real quick. I thought about me and you, 2013, when we took our first trip together out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Costa Rica,
mm-hmm.
and right before we were leading up to get ready to go, and that's when all of a sudden we got news about the major snowstorm, and this was probably the last. This was I'm talking over a foot of snow in Philadelphia, major snowstorm.
We had to end up leaving and flying to like Baltimore.
Because we were supposed to fly on a Thursday, and the snowstorm was supposed to hit Thursday morning in Philadelphia, and we knew that all flights were going to be canceled. So we was like, okay, we don't want to stay here for this. so we maneuvered. Like I never forget. Like we canceled our flight. We canceled our flight from out of Newark, New Jersey, and then picked up a flight, added a flight leaving out of Baltimore, BWI.
Mm-hmm.
Rented a car just so we could drive from Philly down to BWI, just so we could make it from Baltimore to Houston, and then from Houston to Costa Rica. But we maneuvered because we were like, okay, listen, we're not going to ruin our trip to a nice warm island and mess around and get stuck here and over a feet of snow. So I get it, not wanting to be, you know, in the middle of a snowstorm. You know, you never know what's going to happen. You lose power. You know, anything can happen. I mean, Philadelphia, the last bit of bad winter storms like we recently had. I wish we could have packed up and went somewhere if it wasn't a pandemic going on. But unfortunately, we couldn't. But I understand. But if you're a person in a certain, if you hold a certain position, or you're a person with certain, you know, power or whatever, when it comes to your city, you know, or state, then you have to be there for you. You have to be there for the people.
Yeah, I mean, he could have sent his family on, and then
definitely.
And then the fact that the cherry on top is when he said like, "Oh, our daughters wanted it," and then you find out later that was really the wife that was like maneuvering people like to do this. I'm like I don't know, any 10-year-olds would be like, "I want to go to Cancun." Like, no, they're not gonna do that. They're just gonna say it's cold, mommy, daddy. Like, no. I don't want to be here.
When I was 10, I wanted to go to. When I was 10, I wanted to go to the music park. When I was 10, I wanted to go to the Dorney Park. I never forget. That was all I wanted to do.
Dorney Park is in Cancun.
It's not. But when I was 10, I didn't want to go to. For instance, I had a cousin that was stationed in Hawaii, and you know, my family was talking about doing a Hawaii trip, and you know, I wasn't one of those kids like, "Oh, Hawaii!" No, I was like. Is it riots? Like, you know, just.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely feel like he did it all wrong, but that's Ted Cruz for you.
Yeah.
Hypocrites.
Yeah. So that's enough of that.
What about I don't know. Is there anything else we want to wrap up? Because we you know, there was the incident with now I know. It's kind of sad though too. Portland.
Oh, Portland with the frozen food in the dumpster.
Yeah, that was really sad. Like, to me, okay, so.
I mean, you're throwing food in the trash is fair game.
For those who don't know, so Portland was another area that lost power due to the storm. And apparently, I think the store chain is called Fred Meyer. They had been without power too long. They felt their food was about to spoil, so they dumped pounds, like hundreds of pounds of frozen food, frozen like meats and cheeses and juice. They threw it out in the dumpster, and the dumpster was piled high. Now some people were still without food and power as well, and people started coming to the dumpster and trying to take food out, and the workers there got so upset, and they were worried about liability. They called the police. So then the police came and guarded a dumpster of food from people. Now some of the people were just regular people. Some of them were advocacy groups that worked for food insecurity. So it was just a bad look. And then makes it even worse is Fred Meyer's has a zero waste policy or program that they have in place. So their idea is like to make sure that they donate any food.
Food always goes somewhere.
Yeah, food goes somewhere before it becomes waste. So it's kind of someone messed up somewhere clearly, because to me it's like, you know, when the shelf life you have for your food before it becomes dangerous. The moment that they knew they lost power, instead of them being greedy and trying to hold on to it, it would have been safer to start making plans to donate those items.
So it could have went to.
I feel like they waited longer on purpose, so they wouldn't have to. They were hoping that the power would come back on sooner.
Yeah, and then they were going to sell that food that's sat
for a day.
That's set in the improper temperatures for a day or two. They were going to sell it to people.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to throw it out, and then you make a big deal about people. Instead you had to throw it out. Then you make a big deal about people bum rushing the dumpster to grab the food that you just threw out. Now, mind you, it was said that a lot of these people were the same people that would shop at the store. Mm-hmm. You know, so people that had money to shop at the store. But realistically, come on, let's be honest. If
They may not have had money. It's like
I mean,
it's a pandemic.
No, I'm not saying. But what I'm saying is, if you were shopping at a store on a Friday and then that store then throws a bunch of good food out, like, in my opinion, it's fair game. In my opinion, and a lot of that food doesn't. A lot of food doesn't go bad right away.
Yeah, because it wasn't like all like raw meat. It was like some of it was deli meat, some of it was like the prepackaged deli meat, some of it was there was orange juice. There was a thing of orange juice in there. There was like butter. It was like random stuff. So, but it was mostly all refrigerated. But to me, I feel like the moment that their power went out, they should have had a contingency plan in place to say, okay, we are only going to let the power be out for this many hours before we decide to start donating this food. But they didn't. Instead, they wanted to wait as long as possible until they're like, okay, well, now it's not going to come back on, and now it's rotted, so let's get rid of it. And that's where the problem comes in. And then you have the fact you have the police coming in and trying to guard it. And the moment you put it in the trash, like, it's trash, you know. Like,
in my opinion, having the cops guard trash is just
in the middle of a pandemic and in the middle of a snow emergency. It just felt like a waste of resources. To me, it's like so. Then I feel like the moment that they realized that their stuff was going to go bad and they had no choice but to throw it out, they should have spent the money and hired a dump truck to come and get the food and take it straight to the landfill. Like so I feel on multiple levels they failed. And so either you could try to justify it however way you want by saying that, hey, you know, we don't want to risk people getting sick. Well, you didn't do any of the steps that you were supposed to do anyway. So you're still garbage. Like, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
So it's just once when you realize some of these things are just lip service and they really don't. And like then you have these huge companies and they have regular people and these regular people don't know how to do the things that seem like common sense.
I mean, it's a big corporation or whatever. So,
but they have a plan.
I honestly think
they have a plan in place for zero waste. So to me, like someone clearly didn't know how to follow that plan.
Yeah, and I think if the research guy, if you really dug into the research, you would probably find out that it was more than likely probably the manager or whatever or the GM of that location.
And the thing is, like to me, like Fred Meyer then releases a statement saying, "Hey, you know, this food was unsafe and blah blah," but they never really apologized for the whole process. That they basically failed, and it's like nobody wants to take ownership for failing. Because if they had done their due diligence, if they had done their process right, that wouldn't have been an incident to happen to begin with.
No,
it shouldn't have won. The food shouldn't have gotten to the point where it's spoiled, and two, the food once it has spoiled, it shouldn't have been thrown out in the trash in that manner. So either way, they failed. So, on that note.
Yes, on that note.
Let me check our food and see how it's coming along. For our boss wakes up. I feel like it needs to go a little bit longer, but I do want people to see it before we like.
Yeah.
So I'll pull it out for a little bit and I'll put it back in. So everyone can see what it looked like.
This is a really good drink.
It is, yeah. See, it needs a little bit longer. So, but, ooh la la. Melty cheese. Melty cheese.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait.
Oh, it smells good.
Can't wait.
All right. Yeah, probably give no more 20 minutes on there.
All right, folks. So we're going to give that another 20 minutes, and then we're going to tear it up. But it is time for us to sign off and say goodbye.
Yes.
I know our boss is going to be busting their doors sooner or later. And
yeah, in like 2 minutes, literally.
About 2 minutes, yeah. So we're going to sign off before our boss comes and we get in trouble. So thank everybody. We want to thank everybody for tuning in.
Thanks for joining the conversation.
Yes. Big special shout out to Brandy and Dawn and Patrick for your comments and basically tuning in to the show. Everybody else that tuned in but didn't comment, thank you. Don't forget. We have 2 episodes.
Yep.
So don't forget we have our previous 2 episodes are right now on our Facebook Live page, Love Events, and also our YouTube page, Love Events. So like I said before in the beginning, feel free to watch episode 1, episode 2, and let us know what you think. Let us know if there's anything that you feel as though we could do to make the show better. We're always looking for feedback.
We got recipes we can try.
Definitely send the recipes.
I love the one
food or beverage recipes. Send them.
I want one container, like one pot. I love one pot recipes.
One pot recipes.
And then shove it right in the oven.
Recipe. She's a one pot recipe person. If anyone has any breakfast recipes that involve crock pots, I love crock pots. That's my thing. I'm a grill master and a crock pot connoisseur. So
Brandy said she enjoyed the show, but she's off to have a healthy smoothie. I don't know if is it healthy if you add a little algae.
It's not healthy if you add one to the smoothie. But who's judging her? I am. But okay. Anywho, but feel free to send us some recipes. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Sunday.